controversial, polarizing, and undeniably talented. A young rapper whose music touched millions. But on a sunny June afternoon in 2018, XXXTentacion, better known as XXXTentacion, was shot and killed in cold blood outside a Florida motorcycle dealership. The world watched in shock as headlines spread. Another young life in hip-hop had been violently cut short.
20-year-old XXXTentacion killed in an apparent robbery. Police say the artist, whose real name is Jose Onfroy, was leaving a Broward County motorcycle shop yesterday when he was shot by two men who ran up to his car. He was rushed to a hospital but did not make it. Onfroy's death comes just weeks after he earned his first #1 album, which debuted March 31st.
And tonight, disturbing surveillance video showing the murder of South Florida rapper XXXTentacion and the moments leading up to it.
The 20-year-old was killed back in June, and 4 men have since been indicted. CBS 4's Carrie Codd is in Fort Lauderdale with the story.
Surveillance cameras captured the ambush of rapper XXXTentacion as he prepared to leave a Deerfield Beach motorcycle dealership last June. The cameras show a vehicle block the rapper's exit, and then men jump out of the vehicle and confront XXXTentacion.
XXXTentacion rose from the underground SoundCloud rap scene to global fame, known for his raw emotion, genre-defying style, and openness about mental health struggles. By 2018, he had millions of fans worldwide, a devoted following, and a career on the rise. But fame brought dangers. Rivalries, threats, and enemies followed him, a reminder that success in the rap world often comes with deadly risk. On June 18, 2018, XXXTentacion visited a motorcycle dealership in Deerfield Beach, Florida. He arrived in his black BMW with a friend, unaware that his final moments were about to unfold. As XXXTentacion exited his vehicle, a dark SUV pulled up alongside. 4 men jumped out, armed with handguns. They ambushed him in a premeditated robbery. Witnesses later described the scene as chaotic and terrifying. Shouts, gunshots, and the sound of a young life ending far too soon. XXXTentacion was shot multiple times, collapsing in the parking lot. Emergency services arrived quickly, but he was pronounced dead shortly after. His friend survived the attack unharmed, but the moment left a permanent scar on the rap community. Authorities quickly identified the suspects and launched a nationwide manhunt. Dedrick Williams, Michael Boatwright, Trayvon Newsom, and Robert Allen were later arrested, charged, and convicted for the murder and armed robbery. The case highlighted the dangers of premeditated violence and the vulnerability of public figures in the spotlight. The death of XXXTentacion sent shockwaves through the music world. Fans mourned worldwide, gathering at vigils and memorials, sharing his music, and reflecting on the talent lost too soon. His posthumous releases and foundation work continue to address mental health, support youth programs, and inspire dialogue about violence in communities. Despite controversies during his life, XXXTentacion's influence is undeniable. He pushed boundaries in music, challenged social norms, and opened conversations about emotional vulnerability in hip-hop. His death remains a cautionary tale about the costs of fame and the dangers young artists face in an environment where loyalty and conflict collide with deadly consequences. XXXTentacion's life ended in a Florida parking lot on a sunny June afternoon, but his music, message, and influence live on. His story reminds the world that talent and youth can be tragically fragile, and that even rising stars are not immune to the dangers of violence. Though his voice was silenced too early, XXXTentacion's legacy continues to resonate. Raw, emotional, and unforgettable. He was one of the brightest stars in modern hip-hop, a Brooklyn rapper whose voice, charisma, and energy were unstoppable. But in the early hours of February 19, 2020, Pop Smoke's life was violently taken during a home invasion in Hollywood Hills. What should have been a night of rest turned into a shocking tragedy that shook the music world.
Rapper Pop Smoke has been shot and killed in what appears to be a home invasion robbery here in Los Angeles. So we know around 4:30 this morning, two men wearing masks and hoodies broke into a Hollywood Hills home, firing several shots, including a fatal one that hit Pop Smoke. We obtained video of paramedics taking him out of the house, performing life-saving measures, and we know he was then transported to a hospital where he was later pronounced dead.
As Pop Smoke was known by some of the biggest names in the business, like Nicki Minaj and 50 Cent. His murder has stunned fans everywhere.
Yeah, everybody's talking about it. Police say suspects broke into his home and shot.
Fans are starting to show up to pay their respects. Police still don't know the motive behind this shooting, whether it was an attempted robbery or something else, but you can see that they are still out here investigating and searching for suspects.
Pop Smoke, born Basher Baraka Jackson, rose from Brooklyn to global fame with his signature drill sound, captivating performances, and undeniable presence. At just 20 years old, he had millions of fans, chart-topping hits, and a promising career. On that fateful night, he was staying in a rented Beverly Hills home with friends, celebrating his recent success and preparing for a new chapter in music. Around 4 a.m., multiple armed intruders forced their way into the home through a locked door. Surveillance footage later revealed the terrifying sequence: masked men moving quickly and methodically through the property, targeting valuables. And tragically, Pop Smoke himself. The rapper was shot multiple times during the invasion. Despite immediate attempts to help him, paramedics pronounced him dead at the scene. Friends inside the house survived but were traumatized by the sudden attack. The murder was not random. Authorities later determined it was a targeted home invasion motivated by robbery, possibly coordinated by individuals with knowledge of Pop Smoke's location. Los Angeles police launched a large-scale investigation. Within weeks, 5 suspects, including minors, were arrested in connection with the killing. The case highlighted the dangers of fame, wealth, and social media exposure, particularly for young stars in high-profile industries. The news of Pop Smoke's death sent shockwaves across the music world. Vigils were held in Brooklyn, Los Angeles, and beyond. Fellow artists paid tribute through music, social media, and public statements. His posthumous releases, including the album Shoot for the Stars, Aim for the Moon, became chart toppers, cementing his impact on drill music and hip-hop culture. Beyond music, Pop Smoke's death sparked conversations about security for celebrities, the influence of social media on criminal activity, and the vulnerability of young talent in fast-paced industries. His energy, creativity, and charisma are remembered by fans worldwide, ensuring his legacy endures even after tragedy. Pop Smoke's life was cut tragically short in a Hollywood Hills home, but his voice, music, and influence continue to resonate. He was a rising star whose potential was limitless, and though his time was brief, the mark he left on hip-hop is permanent. Pop Smoke's story is a chilling reminder. Fame and success can come with unseen dangers, and even the brightest stars are not untouchable. Yet, through his music, his legacy lives on, inspiring new artists, fans, and a generation that will never forget him. He was a music mogul, a figure synonymous with West Coast rap, and one of the most feared men in the industry. But on January 29, 2015, Suge Knight's life took a darker turn when he ran over two men with his truck during a confrontation in Compton, California, killing one and forever altering his legacy.
Breaking news out of L.A. A music industry mogul under arrest after a deadly hit and run. Suge Knight, a hip-hop figure who's had run-ins with the law in the past, is being held on $2 million bail, accused of running down his own friend.
Overnight, music mogul Suge Knight turning himself in to Los Angeles County Sheriff's deputies. Knight behind the wheel of a hit and run in Compton, California that left one man dead and another man injured. The incident now being investigated as a homicide.
I seen Suge Knight turn around and go to his car and he ran him over twice.
Suge Knight, co-founder and CEO of Death Row Records, was no stranger to controversy. Known for his dominance in the rap world, his business tactics were often as notorious as the artists he represented, including Dr. Dre, Tupac Shakur, and Snoop Dogg. But even for Knight, the events of that day in Compton were extraordinary. Knight had been at a film set in Compton, involved in the production of a biographical movie about NWA. After an argument escalated in the parking lot, Knight got into his truck and struck two men. One man, Tyrone Tony Walker, was killed, while the other was seriously injured. The incident sparked immediate media attention and led to a police investigation. Authorities quickly identified Knight as the driver and took him into custody. The investigation revealed that the incident was not accidental. Prosecutors argued it was a deliberate act during a confrontation. Knight maintained that he acted in self-defense, claiming he felt threatened. Legal proceedings stretched over months. In 2018, Knight pleaded no contest to voluntary manslaughter, acknowledging responsibility for the death while avoiding a trial. He was sentenced to 28 years in prison, a significant fall for a man who once wielded enormous power in the music industry. The case also highlighted Knight's tumultuous history with violence and the ongoing legacy of intimidation associated with Death Row Records, a company forever linked to some of hip-hop's darkest moments. The death of Tyrone Walker marked another violent chapter in Suge Knight's life. Once the kingpin of West Coast rap, he became a cautionary tale of how power, influence, and unresolved conflicts can lead to tragedy. The hip-hop community watched closely as Knight's empire crumbled, and his legal troubles became a public spectacle. While he once controlled some of the biggest names and records in the industry, he now faced decades behind bars, serving as a stark reminder that even the most feared figures are not above the law. Suge Knight's 2015 hit-and-run case is more than a crime story. It's a story of power, ego, and consequences. A music mogul once untouchable was brought down by violence and the legal system, leaving a permanent mark on his legacy. The incident serves as a chilling lesson. No amount of fame, money, or influence can protect someone from the outcomes of their actions. Suge Knight's story is a dark chapter in hip-hop history, a reminder that even the giants of the industry are not invincible.